Hi there, this is a tutorial about how to make multiple doors that are opened only by a specific keys that is related to this door only by using tags. And everything is automatic. I will show you the system. So you have like different door, different keys, and when you walk into it, see it says the message which key you need. So then you can pick up like any key. So I can grab them, and when I press I, it's showing me the keys that I actually have at the moment. Hop, and now I have these 3 keys, and so I have the keys for the huge door, so I can pass by, and same with the door A. And the cool thing about this system is everything is about the tag. So for example, when you have your blueprint here, I can decide to do like, well, I want a new door, and where is my tag? Door A, so I'm gonna call door C, and so I will need a key up, which will be for door C. Oops. So you have to have the exact same spelling, otherwise it won't work. So we see like it creates automatically door C, and door C the key. So if I walk into it, you need door C, and I go here, pick up, and say, well, that's cool, it's working well. No, door A, because I don't have it. So I'm gonna explain you guys how to create this system. So to do so, I'm gonna just switch like this program here. So I'm gonna like keep it as a side note, so I don't forget anything. So here's my blank project. Okay, so first things first, we're gonna need the key. So I'm gonna create a new actor class, and I'm gonna call it key blueprint. Okay. And I don't have my little mesh for the key, so I'm gonna just use a sphere, but it doesn't really matter because after you just like put the mesh that you want, it doesn't really change anything. So I'm just looking at my notes. So first we wanna check and the collision with the player, and then draw, like print something on the screen. So I choose it to print it, but you can create a widget, because we're gonna create 2 widgets for that. So you can also create a widget to say like press F to pick up the key. So we're gonna add some stuff here, and then in the character. So we're gonna say like on the overlap, we're gonna check first if it's the player that is colliding with it. So we're gonna say equal, no, I'm doing something here, say like equal, and get first, get player, okay, get player character. So only if it's the same, then you can like pick up the key when it's like overlapping with it, because otherwise, if for example you have an AI colliding with the key, and then the character could pick up from a distance the key. And something we want to add here, it's also a box, and this is only to don't have to collide with the object itself, but just being close to this will be enough. So now we're gonna enter into the box that's gonna do it. So we want to cast it, cast to first person character, but we don't have the variable here, so I'm gonna just open first person character as well. And inside our first person character, so we want to have E, that's for the inventory, to show all of the keys. Why do I already have this variable? Okay, it doesn't matter. I'll just delete them. Okay. So what we want to add here, it's the, well, I just delete them, but that's basically what I need to do. So it's just to show you like at the same time. So we want to say all keys. So that's gonna store the array. So every key is inside the array itself. So that's why you want to make sure you turn it here to have it as an array. And we want to have just a simple tag name that's gonna call which key. So that's the one I just deleted, but yeah, I could have just like deleted it, but it doesn't matter. It's for if there's like some beginners, so I can do it like real time. Oh, we just don't want this one as an array. So now we're gonna like set up when we press the button. So when we press F to pick up, I put F, but you can put obviously any key you want, and I to open the inventory, and we can even clean the inventory, for example, by pressing G. So then after you can have an event, for example, that destroy your inventory. For example, you change the level, so you want to like destroy the inventory of the player, destroy every keys they have on it. Here we go. So now that we have our variable, we want to be able to say, can I, oh yeah, so it's already here. So this is just like a boolean, so the same stuff, you create a variable, boolean, and you want the beginning to be true because the player can pick up from the beginning. So here we want to say just going back to my notes, so I'm sure I'm doing it in the right order. So when we want to cast it, we want to say we want to set can I pick up, because when it's like close to this, we want to say yes, you can pick up. That's gonna be like when we press F, so you will see. Key. Because I'm doing like slightly different from my note, but it doesn't really matter. I'm gonna just do like this, and so can I pick up? So we want also to have the end overlap, because we want to say like when it's not overlapping anymore, we don't want the player to be able to pick up the things. So I'm gonna just copy this and say like when it's not, I'm gonna just copy it just for the sake of it's more visible. So when the player is leaving the object, then we cast and we can't pick up anymore. And we want to launch an event actually from these guys, say like custom event, and call it pickup key. And so now we can say like, and we need to add an input, which is gonna be an object, actor, if I'm right. Up and say like key, and now we can call this and say like pickup key. So when we actually we need to print to say to the player which key he has to press. So press F to pick up. Okay. So once again, you can create a widget and then you call your widget here. I'm going to show you just after how to create a widget and put it on the screen for a little while and remove it. So I don't know why my it's because it's not compiled. I don't know why my new parameters is not calling like keys, so there we go. So we're gonna make a reference to self for the key. Okay. And then my note, I don't know why I made a system to launch the pickup event also when we stop overlapping. I don't think I need to do that. I don't know why I did it. So I'm gonna just leave it like this. And now when we have our pickup object, that's when we want to set up actually which key we took. So we wanna say, we wanna set the variable which actor key. So then we know like the key, and from this we can actually get the tag, because that's what actually we want to do. So get tag, oops, and then we're gonna say get. So we leave it 0 because we only have one tag on our key. If you have different tags, then you can say, well, I want the first one, which is the name, or the 0 one, which is the name of the key, and maybe tag number 2 you have something else for like another thing. So it doesn't really matter. You can hold Shift Alt to actually set it, or Control to get it. So now we just wanna actually get and set which key with the tag we just got. So now which key contain only the tag of this key we just launched the event from. All right. So this is actually the first one here, and say just get the key type /name, and now when we press F, we want to add the key that we just put inside our variable to inside our array. So we want to do, first we want to check if we can actually pick up. So Control, can I pick up? And if it's true, that's why at the beginning actually I made a mistake. It has to be false, because otherwise you can always pick up anything. So my bad. So if you can pick up, we want to destroy the actor. So that's why actually we set this. So it contains now the actor, so the key that we walked inside the action, inside the box collision. So because now we can actually destroy it, and we have the reference and which actor we actually want to destroy. We can also do this, but this is really so you don't have to use variable for that, but this is way more clear. So we destroy the actor, and then we want to add the key into the array. So we want to say like, well, this is inside this array we want to add, and what do we want to add? We want to add the key we just set up. So we got the tag of this key, we set this variable with the name of the key we just got, and now we want to add inside the array the key we just set up. And yeah, I'm just looking if I'm actually recording. Okay, so now that we have this system, we can actually show the inventory. So by pressing here, we can create a widget in which that's gonna display which key we have. But before doing this, we're gonna just do the door. So because maybe someone doesn't want the widget and all of this. So I'm gonna create actually the things inside the door itself. So we can comment this and just allows the player to pick up the key and launch the pickup event inside the character. Okay, and so we have our little key, and we also want to add a text, name of key, of the key, it doesn't really matter, of the key. And this up. So then once again, this is like really ugly. You can do, it's just to show you the logic behind, then you can do whatever you suit you more for this. So we just want to say like begin play, event begin. We just want to set this, the name, set name. No. Why can't up? Oh, the text, my bad. Set text. And so we want to get the tag of the tag of the key itself. So we want to get reference to self and say get tag. So we get the tag and chook, and we convert it. Here we go. So set text. And for me, I set the variable of the tag of the door. Ah no, this is not in the good one. Okay, because I set the variable show name tag, but actually I don't need to do that. Name based on tag. Yeah, we don't need to do that at all. Up. So now that we have this, we can already actually try. So we have our key. So we have the key here and say like the tag, and we can say key A. And if we play, we have key A, press F to pick up, and I pick up the key. So this is working well. Now we need actually to create, that's the door I'm doing for another tutorial, so I'm gonna just leave it. I'm gonna create the new door open by door special tag. Okay. Here we go. So now we can add a mesh. Can I call it door? And I'm gonna just use the default Unreal 1 that I'm gonna scale up to 1.5, and I'm gonna duplicate and say I want a door frame, and door frame 1.5, perfect. And I'm gonna roughly align this. Okay, it's good enough. So now inside the door, we want a text as well. Text render. It's actually up. Okay, it's good enough. So at the beginning, same as the key, we want to actually get the text with the tag of the door, reference to self. We've done this before. Get tag, get, and we set this here. I'm gonna just put it a little bit more clear here. Up. So we're gonna need this in a sec. Set name, set text render paste tag of the door. Okay. So we have our event begin play, and now yeah, I forgot box collision. Otherwise, if you don't put the box collision, if you don't do this, it won't work, because then, like, if you do on begin overlap, it needs to actually overlapping the object, in which case not really what we want, because if you have a collision that the player can't collide with the door, because obviously you can't go through the door if it's not open, then you will never collide with the door, because you will just like stop when you touch it. And colliding on begin overlap, it's you collide, but when you overlap, it's really like when you are inside the object itself. That's why we use like a box collision, so you can be like, you can set when, if for example here, so when the player is here, the door is already opening. So it depends on your game, like the distance in which you want the player to be open, be able to open the door. So same as before, we want to have a reference of get player character, because we want to check. We don't want an AI to be able to walk into the door and then the player gets on his screen, you need the key, blah blah blah, to open it. It doesn't really make sense. So we want to say like, well, the other actor has to be equal to the player character, or whatever. Like it can be an AI in your case, if you want an AI to be able to walk into the door, but not the first person character, for not the player itself. That's whatever suits you best. And then we're gonna say the condition, and because we want, it needs to be the player in our case, but it needs to have the key as well. So we want to check if he has the key. So we're gonna do a cast, because we want to check if the key is inside these arrays, if he picked up the key. So we're gonna cast to the first person character. Up. And we're gonna get the all key. Get all key, so we can check if the key itself, the tag of the door, it's equal to the tag that he picked up, like the key. So that's why we need to say, for this, we're gonna say name of, or tag of the door, the type name. I am holding Alt, and on begin play, I'm gonna set up this variable with the tag I'm getting. All right. So now I can actually compare control. So I can compare if this one contain the same as the tag of my door. So this is actually here. I'm gonna do this. So if it's the same, the actor colliding, overlapping with my object is the same as my character, and he has the key, then if it's true, I want to open the door. So the door, I'm gonna set set rotation, and I'm gonna say, well, add me 90 degrees on this. All right, because we can open the door. But if it doesn't have, or they don't have the key, then I want to actually draw a widget to say, well, you need to get this key. But let's already start with this. I'm gonna save. I have my door here, and I'm gonna say, what did we call it? Door A. So see, I can collide because that's the collision, so I'm gonna just change it. So key, I can pick up, and it doesn't work. Okay. Why this doesn't work? Up, new rotation. Okay, so am I missing something? Just checking my notes. I put get player bounds here, but get doesn't really change anything. You can put both should work. That's not a problem here. What we're gonna do, we're gonna set to see if actually we get the array correctly. So let's create the widget and to see if actually the key is storing inside our player correctly. There's something really like basic that I'm missing here. Catch all key, which key? So adding all key contain tag of the door. Am I just missing actually the tag door A? Key A. Yeah, I'm really dumb. Jeez. Sorry about that. Yeah, here we go. So yeah, it's just sometimes because of the name, yeah, because I was like, oh yeah, that's the key for the door A, but actually the tag should be the same. So that's why I like say like door A and door A. So that's the only thing that's a bit messed up. So you can actually say like, with what I was explaining before, you can say like, well, I want the tag number 1, right? And so here you can say like key A or key for door A, whatever suits you best. So now you have like key for up, but when we pick up the actual, we pick up the tag 1, because when we do the event pickup, we're getting the tag 0 and not the tag 1, but we are displaying the tag number 1. So we can say display the second tag to have the right name displayed. Okay, so this is working. So I'm gonna, before getting into the widgets, So as I said, this is like, it doesn't really change anything. You can do whatever you prefer. So now we want to say the widget, but before doing this, for the people who don't want to have the widgets things, we're gonna say end overlap. So when we end overlapping, so we're gonna just copy these entire things. Hop. And we want to do 90. Why I'm copying the entire thing? It's because if you want, that's not when you overlap, for example, your player opened the door by pressing a special button, and then he walked through, and to be able to close the door, he needs to have the key, because to lock it, he needs to have the key. So then you can again check for the logic if you want him to have the key or not to be able to close the door, or you can delete this and say this is just my condition here, so it's just my player that's like pressing a button. It doesn't matter if he has the key or not, he can lock the door. So because if you go to another level, you lose all of your key, and then you come back, maybe you want the player to still be able to close the door to avoid an AI to pass by or whatever. So that's why we have the logic again, so we can change whatever we want. So we pick up the key and then we open it. Oops. Obviously, if I say -90, it won't work. It's just go back to 0. My bad. Up. Okay. So now that this logic is here, close the door, checking if player still has the key to lock it. And here, and now we're gonna do the widgets. So new widgets. We're gonna create user interface, new widget blueprint, and call inventory keys. All right. So I'm gonna go and do something really basic here. And I'm gonna just, so you can add some vertical box and things like that. And I'm gonna just say like adding text. And in my text, I'm gonna say keys, nothing fancy here. And maybe 30. And on the bottom, then I'm gonna just like copy it. And inside, I'm gonna paste it and say like, actually I want 24, so I could have just copied stuff. And this is gonna be empty. And that's gonna be just where the key is gonna be shown. And we're gonna bind the function to that. So create binding. And in the binding, we're gonna return the value of the key that is asking to have. So in the door, if we don't have, we're gonna draw widget, add widget components. Nope. Add to viewport. Add to no. What is it? Create widget. My bad. And say inventory keys. No, I'm doing like really bad here. No, this is for the inventory keys is here for I. Sorry. So create widgets and inventory up. So we're gonna just show inside this. So first person. So we wanna add to viewport. So this value, and we want also to add a delay because we want to be able to remove the inventory after like 2 seconds, for example. Remove from parents, remove from parents, remove from parents. There we go. Okay. Here we go. So now we're gonna just draw the inventory keys here, but we need the logic behind behind this. So we want to get first get player get player character to do a cast, because we want to get the value from the array we created. So we want to say like the key and get all key, and we wanna return the value here. So say like get, and all right. So this is for the first key we got, because now if I play and I say like it says like none, and I don't necessarily want to this stuff to say none, and when I pick up the key, say now I have like door A. But the thing is, if I change, if I go like this, and this is my key for my door B, okay, the text is a little bit confusing here, but it doesn't matter. So I have like door A, but what about if I pick up this one and then it still says door A, even though my door B, it's still like I have the key for the door B, but it doesn't display because we only have one line. So we pick up A, we pick up B, and it says only door A, but actually I can open door and door B as well. It's because here, so there's like different way to do it, but we can do like an easy one. Let's copy this, paste it, and we're moving below. This actually you can have a text because that's gonna be erased anyway, so we can say like example or like empty. It doesn't matter because that's gonna be erased. It's just so you know for the layout, it's easier to lay out your thing if you have something inside. And for example, if you want to have a third key, you just go and paste, and we have oops, first key here. So this on the bind, okay, you're gonna create another binding, and basically what you need to do is just copy paste the whole system here. Can say display key tag 0, and then we put the logic here, choke, and then that's gonna be for the tag 1. Because how does it work? It's gonna take the first the number 0 in the array, and then the number 1 in the array, number 2, and etc, etc. So I'm gonna copy this and say for tag 1, and I'm gonna create another function saying actually up for tag 2, And the same, I'm gonna take this logic. Oh, my bad. We don't want to be these things now. See how it's saying none. It's because so the last one is saying empty because we haven't set up the empty one. We haven't set up we haven't bind it now. But we don't want it to display empty if it's empty. So we wanna say display tag 0. We're gonna say return the value only if it's not saying empty. So what we're gonna do, it's saying the texts. So we want to say like text non-equal. I'm gonna say like not equal and say yeah non-equal none. This is like the default one. So if it's non-equal to none, so if it's not equal to none, then you show it. Otherwise, you don't show anything. So now we're gonna have cast failed. Ah, yeah, that's normal. I don't know why it's doing this. It's still working perfectly. So now we have nothing for the first one, none, and then empty. It's because obviously we have nothing for the first one because we have this logic. So we want to add this logic here. So if it's not equal to none, then you display it. And then for display tag 2, we actually don't have anything yet because this needs to be bind of the display. Why I can't choose this one? Interesting, because I have my function here, but I can't bind it. Ah, yeah, because I don't have the output text, maybe. It's just like the other way to do. Oh, I haven't compiled. I'm just checking because usually you go like create binding, but I was just trying in real time with you if actually I could create the function like this, but it seems to be like something weird. So I'm gonna just create a function like this and say up. So I'm gonna delete this one and say tag 2. And we want to have the same logic. So there is probably a proper way to do that because that's a little bit tedious if you have like a lot of different keys. The reason why I'm doing like this, it's because I was trying to add a line inside the same text, and then based on the array, it's changing the line inside the text. But I was investigating on this and I couldn't find it, so I was like, just doing this way is working. It's working well, and so it doesn't need. So pick up here. So I pick up first my door B, and then my door A. Boom, boom. Perfect. So now last things we need to do, and then we'll be done. It's to display the message saying like, well, you need the key to open this door. So it says like key needed. So same as before, we want to add a text and the second text. This text is gonna be root text. I'm gonna say key needed, like display in red, and yeah, it doesn't really matter. No, I'm putting on the shadow color, my bad. Okay, yeah, well, it's maybe a little bit too much, 24. So key needed. Actually, I'm gonna just delete this and just copy paste that. Oops. Gonna align key needed. There we go. So same as before, we're gonna create a function for that. And here we want to attune the value of the door. We're actually pressing it. So key needed, add to viewport. So we are back inside our logic. It's like when the player collides with the door, overlaps, excuse me, and they don't have the key. So add to viewport, and we want to get the tag of the door. So we're gonna cast to this widget. So we need first to create a variable here. So we're gonna create a local variable saying which key is needed, the type name or text, okay, and that's this one we're gonna actually set inside here. If it's local variable, I won't be able to check it, so sorry, I'm getting a bit tired here. Which key is needed? I don't know if I need to make it public. I don't think so. So set. So we're gonna set the variable. We're gonna take hold control and which key is needed. We just take the tag of the door, and so we set the value of this variable with the tag of our door. So actually we can say key needed and go and hop and done, because then we just like got the value here. When we're gonna draw it, this variable will contain the tag of the door here. But then we need, same as before, to add a delay of 2 seconds, and then remove it from parents. Remove, just to remove the widget. Otherwise, it's gonna be a little bit messy and just stay on the screen, and that's not what we want. Here we go. So now, if I play it, key needed door B. Yeah. So I pick up the door B, and I go, and I can open and close the door A. And here, and I can say like, oh yeah, door A, door B, door B, and last things, if you want to have this, is just to clear this, so you can actually control and clear the array. Simple as that. So clear the inventory, then draw widget with which key the player has in possession, or player has with up, and get the key close by, nearby. There you go. And I think we're done. So we don't have any keys. I pick up this. I have door B, but then I'm destroying it. There we go, because I press G, so I destroy my inventory. So I'm not able to open this ever, because my door key now is up, and then here boom, destroy it, and I can pass by. Here we go. So that was how to set up a system just based on tags. So it's really easy to add some new door and new keys into your scene in any level you want. And everything, when you set up this, everything is set up automatic. Then you just need to change the tag of the door, same as the key, and done. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. You can check out my whole series. So I'm doing the whole series of an art side as well, so just like how to create video games from A to Z with Unreal by using, I'm teaching also Maya and everything, so that's the tutorial that's gonna come soon into this, on this channel. So if you guys are interested in these things, or if you want a special tutorial about something more about something different, completely different, or something about this system that you didn't understand or anything, like don't hesitate to ask in the comment, and I will be pleased to help you if I can. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.